Hi everyone, David Aragona and Mike Beer here, taking a look at the Saturday race of the day. It is the Grade 2 Fountain of Youth going as race 13 on a 14 race card at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. Before we get into the handicapping, make sure to hit that thumbs up button below the video, like this video, leave us a comment if you agree with any of our opinions or disagree, and make sure to subscribe to the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel to get more videos like this. Also be aware there are free past performances available for this race, it being the Saturday race of the day. Access those on the race of the day page on DRF.com. Mike, we've got 8 runners signed on to try to earn these 50 qualifying points that are on the line to the winner of the Fountain of Youth. Haven't yet seen the morning line for this race, but I would imagine favoritism will land on the number 3 Burnham Square, who passed his 2-turn test against Stakes Company in the Holy Bull and now is coming back under the same conditions.
Yeah, it just keeps getting better, and I like the fact that Ian Wilkes isn't going to skip this prep to wait for the Florida Derby. He's going to run this horse right back. I think it's a pretty good idea. This is the Derby preps, especially with this race, David, feels like they're starting to heat up now. We got at least a couple horses in here who could easily make the gate, not only make the gate in Kentucky, but they could be contenders in that race.
Yeah, 3 runners in this race are on the Derby watch that I'm doing with Brad Free, the other 2 being Sovereignty and River Thames. Sovereignty making his 3-year-old debut here, and River Thames, the kind of the now horse, coming in here making his stakes debut for Todd Pletcher. Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for this race to get a sense of how this could unfold heading into that clubhouse turn. And the horse I was just mentioning, River Thames, has plenty of tactical speed, but he's got a pretty quick horse drawn right to his outside in the number 7, Neoequos, who's stretching out from sprint races.
Yeah, I feel like both of the horses to the outside of River Thames have speed. Even the 8, who's not an absolute blazer, but he's stretching out for the first time, and he's got plenty of speed too. So we'll see how fast this pace gets, and we'll see how aggressive those 2 horses in the outside draws want to get.
Do note the 2 of these horses shown on the pace projector, the number 4 McKellen and the number 5 Solid Left, are cross-entered in a first-level allowance race on Thursday at Gulfstream Park. I think Solid Left is expected to run in that race instead, so we'll see if there are 1 or 2 scratches in this Fountain of Youth. This pace projector will update on the site on Saturday morning. Let's go through this field from the inside post position out, beginning with the number 1 Gate to Wire. Mike, let's take a look at his last race. His first dirt start, they had tried him on turf, then synthetic to begin his career. Took 5 races for Todd Pletcher to finally get this horse on the dirt, and kind of wondered what he had been doing early on, not running this horse on the dirt, given the way that he improved. But that was 1 turn. Now he's got to stretch out to the 2 turns.
That seems like the main question with this horse. Now he's going to stretch out in distance here, and we'll see how he handles it. Really liked his dirt debut, David. I don't know how you felt about it. I'll be honest. I can't say that I was expecting him to be better on dirt than he was on turf. I actually thought he was a pretty good turf horse as a 2-year-old. He ran really well in that race, not only winning as easily as he did in fast time, but that pace was fast, man. And it's not like he got outrun by it. He kept up and still outfinished those horses easily. Got a great draw here. I mean, I can't say that I love him. I think he's pretty dangerous.
And you could see the toll that the pace took on those in behind him, and he just kept maintaining those strides through the wire. There is plenty of stamina breeding, but more turf stamina breeding on the dam side if you go a little deeper, so we'll see if he's able to handle the added ground. The number 2 is Sovereignty, and really intrigued to see what we get from this horse as he makes his 3-year-old debut, because I don't know about you, Mike, but I thought that this horse's street sense was one of the most visually impressive performances that we saw put forth by anybody in this crop last year. And yes, he was just breaking his maiden in that race, but he beat a pretty good field, including Tistastic and Sandman, who was attracting a lot of support on the road towards the Kentucky Derby. But now he's been off for a little bit of time. He's getting a slightly delayed start to his 3-year-old campaign, and I kind of wonder if this short stretch at Gulfstream is really going to suit this horse's style.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, those are the things that you worry about. I mean, the layoff, obviously, but then, returning over this track, which can get pretty speed friendly, and he's probably going to have some ground to make up. I worry about that. Listen, I feel like he's one of the best colts in this crop. And if you're going to ask me to take one horse out of this race, no matter what happens going forward, I'm taking Sovereignty. I do think he's really good. I also feel like, as well as you ran the street sense, David, I thought his first 2 starts were both really good performances too. I'm going to defer to you on this. I was looking at, you're way more in tune to this stuff than I am. I was looking at his work tab for him out here. It doesn't look like to me like this horse is fully cranked up here for his first start back. What did you think?
I watched the one workout video available for the workout 2 back on February 15th. He was in company with an unraced horse who's actually debuting earlier on this Gulfstream Park card, and that horse outworked Sovereignty, though Sovereignty is a grinder, not necessarily a horse that's flashy in the morning, so I don't know how much to make of that. The number 3 is Burnham Square, and he's just the horse to beat in this race based on what he's done so far in his 2-turn races. You take a look at his Holy Bull last time, we'll watch the stretch run of that race. Mike, I don't typically see horses make this kind of move at Gulfstream Park, especially inexperienced types, where he didn't even seem like he was loving the kickback when they angled him in behind horses into that clubhouse turn, but he just continued to run through the kickback, gradually worked his way outside on the far turn, and just mows this field down. And the top 2 in this race open up a big margin on the rest. I think both he and Tappan Street are pretty nice horses. And based on what he did that day, he's now coming back in a race where he just has a recency edge on one of his main rivals. And if he runs as well, he's going to be super tough.
Yeah, he's going to be really tough to beat. He ran great in that race that we just watched right there. Not only the way he finished it off once he got into the clear, but just the way that he sort of dragged his rider into contention up the backstretch along the inside. This horse he's just getting better. He's getting better by a lot every time Ian Wilkes sends him out there. I guess the question now, David, is does he improve again? I don't know if you're going to expect this horse to keep going forward. Maybe he will. He was a good price in that last race. He's going to be the favorite here, and he might have to improve again to beat this field. Maybe he won't, but he might have to. We'll see what he does. This horse is good right now, and he's the horse to beat, in my opinion.
The number 4, McKellen, as I mentioned, he's one of the horses cross-entered in that Thursday first-level allowance race. Mike, if he runs here, it's going to be a pretty ambitious spot based on what he did in the Mucho Macho Man, which is not exactly proving to be a key prep.
Yeah, that's been a pretty bad race. They should probably run this horse in the allowance race just to give him maybe a little bit of a confidence boost and then see where they are.
The number 5, Solid Left. Our colleague Dave Gretting did report that he is likely to run in that allowance race on Thursday instead. If Brian Lynch does the last minute decides to reverse course and run here instead, he does have tactical speed to at least be in attendance to the pace. And I like the way he improved with added ground. This is just a huge step up in class.
Yeah, he did really improve when they stretched him out. But boy, he'd be an awful tough if this is the spot they picked out for him.
The 6 River Thames is kind of the key to this race, Mike, because he has run pretty fast in his first 2 races, both around 1 turn. He's got that tactical speed that we talked about with the pace projector. I guess we'll see how much pressure he gets to his outside from either Neoequos or Keep It Easy. But this horse showed the ability to stalk in those first 2 races, and he really finished. The mile and a 16th does give me some cause for pause because you look through his damn side pedigree, and there are way more sprint influences than horses that wanted to go 2 turns, but he's got talent.
He's very talented. I'm with you. I feel like I don't think you can be convinced that longer distances are going to be better for this horse. He's going to have to prove that. But his first 2 starts are really good. This is his allowance win. Back on actually the same day that Burnham Square won the Holy Bull. This was just a few races earlier. And when you compare, I know this is a 1-turn race and the Holy Bull was 2. You compare the fractions. This horse was almost a full second faster to every point of call. And that includes the mile. He was much faster to the mile than Burnham Square's race was. So we'll see. I think he stacks up favorably on talent. He's going to get the right trip in this race, I think. A mile and 16 is not supposed to be too far for him, but he's still got to prove it.
And that short stretch at Gulfstream can sometimes favor horses that come into the stretch with the lead, and it wouldn't be a surprise if he were that horse. The number 7 is Neoequos, and he's the one that's likely to be pressing the pace from the outside for trainer Sappy Joseph. He'll be stretching out around 2 turns for the first time, but having never gone farther than 7 furlongs so far in his career, he kind of played second fiddle to that very good Florida bred Rated by Merit in the second half of last season, Mike. Now getting away from that foe with Rated by Merit on the sidelines, and got a confidence boost in an allowance race last time, but he's facing way tougher here.
Yeah, I mean, if you like him in this race, and I guess there are things to like about him, but if you like him in here, you're just going to hope that he blasts off to the front and he forgets to stop.
On the outside is a horse, Keep It Easy, that could attract some support, and one that I think we still need to learn some things about based on what he did as a 2-year-old, because when he got the right kind of trips, he was pretty impressive, winning from gate to wire on his second start when they stretched out to 6 furlongs, and then the last race, the Ed Brown at Churchill Downs, he stalked off the pace, they were moving up front, he moved into the stretch wide, and then he settled that race in the matter of about a 16th of a mile and drew off very impressively and continued on through the gallop out. He didn't run well in his 1 graded stakes attempt, the Saratoga Special, but he had no chance after he completely blew the start in that spot. And Mike, this horse has plenty of pedigree to stretch out.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I mean, he's been impressive in the 2 wins. Even if you want to say he had a super soft trip when he broke his maiden, but he still really ran through the stretch. I thought he was really good winning that Brown the last time we saw him. That was a really strong performance. He kind of gives off the impression to me that more distance isn't necessarily going to work against him. As you pointed out, he's got plenty of pedigree to go longer. I don't know, man. I took a long look at this horse and he's going to be a price.
Yeah, he's a horse that hasn't really been in the Derby conversation, but handicapping this race, I found him interesting because I kind of forgot he was out there. And I did find this stat for trainer Dale Roman searching through DRF Formulator with horses that are non-maidens, so facing winners, trying a route on dirt for the first time. Dale does well, 6 for 21, 29% with a $5.71 ROI. Well, let's throw up our picks for this race, Mike, and I'm going to chalk it out with Burnham Square. I just have really liked what I've seen from this horse, the progression from one start to the next. I think that he's got the mental fortitude to overcome whatever trip could be coming to him from this post 3. And he's not going to be a great price. I just think he's the most likely winner.
I think he is too. He's way the horse to beat. I'm not against him in here, but I do think River Thames is pretty interested in here. Maybe out trips that horse. And as you've already referenced, the short stretch could work to his advantage. I'll give him one shot in here, assuming he's not too short a price. I got Burnham Square second. I want to see Sovereignty run really well in here. I just don't know if this is the spot to bet him.
3-8-6-2 for me and 6-3-2-8 for Mike in the Grade 2 Fountain of Youth, the Saturday race of the day. Good luck if you're playing the races this weekend.